Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode of Create Above and Beyond. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. I'm having a fantastic day. The more I dive into this mod pack, the more I realize that Create is very, 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 very important. Which is a good thing, because this is the one mod in the pack that I have very little familiarity with. So it's nice to kind of play around with something new. But one thing that we want to automate, well, we actually want to automate a few different things in this episode, but the first thing we want to automate is the production of rubber. And there's a couple things that, there's a few ways we can do this. I experimented a little bit with playing around with the farm that, like a vine farm, an automated one, but it turns out there's not really a good way to do that. Pretty much the only way to automate a vine farm in this is to use these deployers to manually harvest with shears, and that's kind of a pain. But with that said, there's another way to get rubber. If we look at compacting, you can use resin from thermal expansion. And the thing with resin is, I thought it would be pretty complicated, but all you need is an arboreal extractor. Put it down next to a tree, and every cycle it will generate 25 millibuckets of resin. And the thing with arboreal extractors is they're really not that hard to make. It's just andesite machines and buckets in a smithing table. And they don't require any sort of power, they just kind of passively do their thing. So I've done a bunch of preparations between episodes so we can do this super quick. Let's just take 20 andesite machines and 20 buckets. Pop over here to this smithing table, we'll make a bunch of these. And then we can pop up here and just plop these guys down, and they'll start generating resin for us. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They do have to be on the ground level, and they do have to be, I believe, right next to the tree. Like, they have to actually be adjacent to it. So I've got 5 trees here. And because these generate 25 millibuckets of resin, that's going to work out pretty well for us, because if we look again at rubber, it takes 250 millibuckets to create one rubber in a basin with a press. So 10 of these, or so 5 trees worth of 4 extractors each will basically generate enough for 4 rubber every cycle. So now we've got these things passively generating resin, but we don't want to have to come up here with a bucket and manually do it all ourselves, because that's a pain. So the next step is to automate all of this. And again, that's pretty easy to do. You just plop down some pipes. And these are made just using copper. You just need, I think it's 2 copper plates and 1 copper ingot to make 8 pipes, which is pretty cheap. That's really not a significant cost. And we're just going to kind of surround each of these like this. Let me just grab a bed real quick. Just take a quick snooze. There we go. Give me my pipes back. So we'll finish surrounding these like so. Bring each one out and down like this, and then we're going to end up connecting them all right here in the center. I actually need more pipes. And there we go. Grab those. And we'll just finish hooking this stuff up like so. Okay, so these are all now on one big pipeline. Then in the center here, we'll just bring this out just a little bit more. Bring it out like 2, I think. And then we need a couple of pumps. And these, again, super easy. We're actually going to need 2 of them. It's just a pipe and a small cogwheel like so. So then we can plop that down. And what this will do is automatically extract the stuff we need. Actually, I'm going to change this just a little bit. Also, I know that you can use the wrench there, but I don't have a wrench in my inventory at the moment, so whatever. Okay, so then... Oh, actually, I've got one right here. Cool. Then we're going to take some fluid tanks. And again, these are pretty easy to make. It's just glass, copper casings, and copper nuggets. Copper casings are made with just a log and a copper sheet, so super cheap. And then we're going to plop down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we'll just get one big fluid tank. Each tank can hold 8 buckets worth of fluid. So this should be, what, 72? 72 buckets of fluid? That's a lot. But we're not actually going to need all that right this minute, because we are going to head back to the storage and grab the thing that I forgot to grab. 10 out of 10. Well done, self. I need these basins and this press. Here we go. I actually only need one of these basins. And then let's also, while we're here, just grab some wood, because I'm going to need it. Oh, and one piece of soul sand. There we go. And then I should grab a bucket or two as well. So we'll just go like that. There we go. Oh, 2 buckets. Okay, because we're going to power this whole thing with a water wheel, so it will be all completely automatic. Oh, I lost my setup for a second. Here we go. Okay, so now that this is all going to be going, right, we need to then take these out and send them into something else, like a basin, for example. And then we need our mechanical press up here, which is going to automatically take the stuff and press it. So the fluid will pop in here. And then last thing we also need is actually a hopper and some chests, which again, because I am forgetful, I have left in here. So just grab those, and that way these will auto output to this chest here. So we'll just, do we want to go double chest? Might as well, right? Might as well go 1, 2. Oh, try that again. There we go. Dirt. Grab the hopper like so. And there we go. All right, so now any fluid that is in here, you can't output a fluid through hopper. You can't output fluid through a hopper, so it won't output. But once it gets turned into rubber by the press up here, then it will automatically output to the chest. So now we basically just need to hook this thing up to power. So let's grab some gears, some shafts, and some cured rubber. By the way, the reason we want rubber is because you use it to make mechanical belts, which are super, super important in Create. Not only do they act as item transportation to move things between different like assembly lines and whatever, but they're also used to connect up shafts. So let's just start right here with a small wheel. And then we'll just plop another one. We'll say, oh, just kidding, not that one. Plop a shaft here. And then let's put our water wheel, I don't know, right here. This is fine. So the water wheel itself is going to go in here. There we go, water wheel. Put that down. And then we want soul sand here. Or above, actually. Let's put it right there. And then when we put the water bucket, although that wouldn't actually make any difference. Yeah, let's put it back where it was. This is fine. Okay, now we need to encase this thing. So I'm going to make a whole bunch of trapdoors. And we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Not there, because that needs to be a shaft. But then, oop, like so, like that, and then we need one here, but not here, because the belt is going to connect to there. So whenever this wheel is turning, it's going to turn this little crank right here, which is pretty useful. And then we got to put in our water. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let me also make just a couple more trapdoors, because we're going to need a trapdoor right up here. So we'll put one. Oh, and we also need one there. And that shoot. Mistakes have been made. I fell. Oh no. All right, there we go. So that should be good. Now we put our water here, and that will start turning the wheel. And then we're going to put our other water there and put our trapdoor back. So that should work. Please don't destroy anything over here. Yeah, nothing important. Okay, good. So now this is turning, and that you can see is turning the fluid pipe, and we can change this to a little glass so you can kind of see into the pipes and see that it's actually working. So there we go. As far as I can tell, there's not a limit to how much fluid it can transport at any given time. The only thing that changes is like the speed that it flows through the pipes. But this is now filling up. And we're going to use that fluid to do all of this good stuff. So let's go. Let's see here. Let's put that here. Actually, I got to think about this. We need a small wheel here. And then probably just like a vertical thingamadoodle. Because we'll need... Let's see. I'm just thinking, yeah, we're gonna need to be able to power that. So I'm actually gonna need one more thing. And that, at create, is one of these guys, the vertical gearbox. These are super easy to make. Andesite casing and cogwheels. So really not a big deal at all. We just need a little bit of andesite alloy. Oh, wait a minute. What's the recipe for andesite case? Oh, logs in. Okay, yeah. There we go. And then I might as well just make a couple of them right away. Why not? We'll make 2 gearboxes, and then to turn one of these into a vertical gearbox, we just put it back into the thing. Perfect opportunity to sleep again. Super quick. There we go. And then we just have to basically hook up the belts and stuff to this. So let's go with a vertical gearbox here. That's not going to work. We need this to connect up as well. So I guess the easiest way to do this would be maybe to put it here. And then we've got that here. This comes up like so. I just got to think for a second. My brain is is not working for me at the moment. Let me get this worked out. All right, there we go. This is much better. I ended up just moving this basin and mechanical press over a couple blocks so it was in line with the water wheel, and that made this a lot easier to do because I can just run a belt straight up to power the mechanical press, and then use a regular gearbox over here to redirect the shaft over to power the mechanical pump. So now this should be essentially fully automated. It's not going to be super speedy, but it should get the job done, I think. And yeah, should be good. So we'll get our rubber, and then we can smelt this whenever we need to. We'll be able to, I mean, this is essentially going to be infinite rubber, because these will just keep extracting. And as I said, they don't require power or anything like that. You can put fertilizer in them to make them go faster, but we don't really need to. This will just kind of passively generate rubber for us, which we can then use for belts and all sorts of other good stuff. The regular rubber itself is not really used for anything other than to be converted into cured rubber. But cured rubber is used for all sorts of things. You know, I mean, we've got, you know, like redstone flux coils, belts are a big one. We got just tons of stuff, tons of various things that we're going to need it for. So it's good to have that fully automated now. All right, the next thing I want to automate is the press a little bit. So this should be super easy to do. All we need to do is plop down something like this, and then I went ahead and I made a toolbox. This thing's pretty cool. Just lets you store things. And we'll just bring these out to be in line with this thing right here. Grab a couple of belts and do this. Okay, so now that should all be good. And then I guess I'll put on either side a block. Oh, no, we don't want to use wood because we got lava right here. And I'm actually playing for once in a world that does not have fire tick off. I don't do that very often. Usually I turn fire spread off because it opens up, you know, building options that you wouldn't otherwise have. But in this case, I decided to make a little bit of an exception. Let's just grab some of this, grab our chisel, and we want that one. There we go. So here's the plan. Oh, yeah, this is fine. I will need a crafting bench, though. So here's what we're going to do. We will put down here and here a couple of blocks. This is starting to get a little messy, but that's fine. Most of this is all temporary stuff anyway. Make myself 2 chests. We'll put one here and one here. You know what? I want this to go from left to right. So I'm actually going to change this just a teensy bit. Give me the wrench. Let's do this instead. Should have a gearbox here. Make it a regular gearbox because this will reverse the order. And now if we go like so, yeah, there we go. Now it's going from left to right. My brain, I want this to be input, this to be output. And what we'll do is we'll take a couple of these andesite funnels and put one on either side. So now anything, not that one. Now anything I put in here will go along this belt, get pressed, and end up in there. So if we grab, just as an example, a couple of iron, let's just grab one. Grab an iron ingot. Actually, you know what? We'll grab 2 just for demonstration purposes. Throw those in here. It'll come along. It'll stop. It'll get pressed. And then it'll go along. It'll stop. And it will get pressed. And so on and so forth. And then ultimately they'll end up in here. So if it's not completely automatic because, you know, I don't have a plan yet for how, like, I'm not automatically sending things into this chest. I still need to do that. But in the meantime, like, this should be fine. This will at least, you know, make it so that if I need to make a bunch of plates or whatever, I can dump them into this chest and then they'll output to here automatically. So I don't have to babysit it. I don't have to worry about throwing things onto a block or something. Just keeps this nice and simple. So I think the next thing I want to automate, simply because it will be relatively easy to do, is the production of clay. And also, if we look in our quest book, that is one of the things it recommends, catching sediment and clay, because we're going to need that for the Chapter 1. So the first thing we need to do, believe it or not, in order to automate the production of clay, is we gotta grow rice. And you can find rice out in the world. You'll find wild rice. When you break it, it will give you rice. And then you can plant it. It has to be planted underwater. So you can make a field like this or something like that, or you could just plant it in the shallow water over here. But as it grows, it will, once it grows all the way up to maturity like this, it will give you rice panicles. I think I'm pronouncing that right, but either way, let's just plant what little rice we have. There we go. Then, once you have your rice panicles, you can do one of two things. You can make a cutting board, and you can cut it manually, or, much easier, you can just toss it into your mill. And the mill will mill the rice, and once it's all done, it will give you straw and more rice, and then you can, replant this bit should you feel so inclined, like right now when we're trying to, build up a big old field of rice. Now the straw, this is where it gets important. You can use the straw to make canvas, and the canvas is used to make sediment strainers. You need 3 of them for a single strainer, along with 6 sticks. But the sticks are easy. It's really the canvas that's the bottleneck here. And then you can put the strainer into a strainer base, and this will essentially gather sand and clay as long as it is within a water source. And I'm going to need a few of these. And as you've noticed, we need 3 canvas per strainer, and I think I want to have like 5 strainers at least. So yeah, I have a lot of rice to grow. So while we're waiting on the rice to grow, I figure we can get the rest of the setup prepared. And we're going to build it over here because, at least according to the wiki for the water strainer mod, it will have increased efficiency in the river. I don't know if that's actually true in this pack, but, well, there's only one way to find out. So let's go ahead and just build this up a little bit so we can get up here. And then I guess we'll start it like, I don't know, here. 1, 2... Okay, this is actually a lot bigger than it needed to be. Let's maybe let's do this. Yeah, I made this way bigger than it needed to be. Although that also makes it easily expandable, which is good, I suppose. But for now, let's just keep bringing that over. And we want to make sure... Okay, this is Savannah. Savannah, Savannah, Savannah. Alright, this is the river right here. So this is going to be our edge. And we don't want to go any higher, or any closer, I should say, than this. This will be our edge right here. So then let's just pop up. There we go. Which means 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay, so this will work. For now, I think we can get rid of essentially everything over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, good, good, good. And we'll get rid of the rest of this, because at least at the moment, it's not important. There we go. Okay, then what we want to do is come back, and we basically want to make like a little box up here. So first of all, let's just do this to make this part easy. We'll go 1, 2, 3, like so. And then on this side, there we go. And we'll just kind of encase that. And then we're just going to take glass blocks and put them along here. So what's going to happen is the strainers are each going to go in these holes. Then we're going to put water up on this layer, and that will then start generating these basic items for us, the clay and the sand. What we then want to do is have the clay and the sand pop down here onto a conveyor belt where it's going to start making its way over to here. Did I bring... I did not bring my toolbox. Okay, let me get the belts and stuff in place. Okay, I think I have everything set up, and I have enough of the rice turned into straw now that I think I actually have all the strainers too. Just finished gathering the last bit, so there we go. We got 5 strainers. So here's the setup. We've got our strainer bases up here, as I had said earlier, and then right underneath each one is a hopper that goes onto a conveyor belt, because you can actually output directly to a conveyor belt via a hopper. And that belt is going to very slowly bring the items along here. You can actually see it's moving super, super slow, and there's a reason for that. Over here we got our water wheel, and that is powering the belt. And then it's also powering 3 fans right here, because if we look at clay, you can get clay from the strainer, but you also get a ton of sand from the strainer, and by washing sand, you have a 25% chance to get clay. So what we're planning on doing is essentially getting this whole thing going so that everything at least gives us a chance to get clay out of it, because I don't really need all the sand. Like, I'm sure I could find a use for it for glass or whatever, but far more important is getting clay so that we can make andesite alloy. That's the big important thing. So what will eventually happen here, these will very, very slowly fill up, and it should also be noted that these strainers do have a durability. So I'll have to replace them every 300 uses, which, is going to take a long time, but that means I do still need to come here manually and replace them every so often. Maybe at some point we'll set up an automated system to do that for us. But now we can see this going along, and it's going, as you can see, this is a very, very slow belt, because I wanted to make sure that we would be able to still have a chance to convert these, fully wash these bits of sand with 3 fans. With a normal speed belt, with just the water wheel, I think it takes 5 fans to fully wash them. So I figured by slowing the belt down, and we may actually be able to slow it down even less than this, perhaps? We're about to find out here. So here we go. Sand. And... wow. 1 fan. That only took 1 fan. Okay. So in that case, we can actually... we really can't, though. I suppose what we could do is we could break that and put a regular cog wheel there, but then it won't actually fit, will it? Oh, wait, we could put one there. Oh, and now it's going the wrong direction. Oh, no. There we go. Now it's going the right direction again. Alright. We'll see if this will be faster. This belt is going to move a lot faster. So let's see now. I'll probably have to start watching this one, because this one may have already spent some time being washed. But I have a feeling that this is going to work. There's also a chance it just disappears, because it's only a 25% chance to turn to clay. Although these all seem to be turning to clay, which is pretty sweet. Okay, yeah, this is definitely working. And that's going to get us just a passive source of clay. And the only thing we'll actually need to do is come back here every so often to replace the strainers when they break. So not too bad. We have now automated rubber and clay, which gets us, a little bit closer to being able to have all of the basic create resources available to us. But I think I am out of time for this episode, so I'm going to call this one here. My friends, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Links in the description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, my friends, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.